Hey friends, welcome back. David Rice, Chief Editor here at Dentistry IQ, back again with
Deanna Zost.
and we are talking about no shows, no problem. Gloves are off. Deanna, how do we overcome this whole no-show thing?
Well, I know y'all have already heard me say I'm going to step on some toes, but I'm doing it with all the love in my heart. God bless it. If you still have a sign in your office that says we're going to charge $25 for no show, get it out of there. Away, gone. And I think I just heard 75% of the dental world go, oh, yes, I said that, because I'm going to ask all the doctors right now a question. When is the last time you enforced that? Give you a few seconds. I know, right? You charged it, you sent them a statement, probably stamped it in red. But then when they called and they were so nice, you wrote it off and you let them come back in. And they were all right for 2 or 3 appointments. And then they did it again. You got mad. You're like, oh, we're going to charge them double this time. Now, some doctors will charge it and they make their patients pay and everything's fine. So if that's in your perfect little unicorn world, y'all can turn this off now. But I'm telling you, it doesn't happen. And I'm going to tell you why. We are suckers. We are suckers because we don't want a patient to leave and write a bad Google review that we're so mean and we charge them for no showing. Guess what? You can call them out on that Google review in a kind way. You're not breaking a HIPAA law. They've already said they're a patient. He made me leave because, I didn't show up and they were going to charge me, or she made me leave because of this. Well, guess what? You can kindly respond and say, oh, we are so sorry you feel that way. We miss having you as a patient, but we do expect you to show up when you say you will, because we're here for you, for your dental health, for your overall health. Call them out. Anyway, let's get on to the no-show thing. No shows, no problem. Stop charging a no-show fee, because I'm going to tell you, it's not going to work. It just creates bad blood. Here's what you do. Now, you can take what I'm going to say and take bits and parts of it, and make it work. It's not going to fit your culture, but I'm going to tell you what has always worked for me, always. The first time they no-show, number one, let me get back up here. When I present treatment, my patients prepaid to get on the schedule with my doctor. And if they didn't prepay, they put down a pretty healthy deposit, okay? So you know what happens to the schedule when that happens? They show up. Oh, they show up. So hygiene, here's what happens. They no-show. They keep no-showing. They keep no-showing. And we just charge it and we write it off and charge it right off. I bet your CPA loves that. Your accounting looks fantastic, right? Okay. They no-show the first time. And this could be for doctor hygiene, but I'm telling you, doctors, get that deposit or have them prepay their copay in full. They'll show up. Hygiene. They no-show. Then they call back. Oh my goodness, Mr. H, I'm so glad to hear from you. I thought you were dead in a ditch somewhere. No, don't say that, but you know what I'm saying. I didn't know what happened to you. Car wreck? I didn't know. Did you forget about me? So you need a credit card to reserve their next appointment. Now, I'm going to tell you, I get my hair done. My hair salon has my credit card on file. My husband makes a tea time. They have his credit card on file. That's hair and golf. Not that important. Although try to tell my husband golf is not that important. Dentistry is important. Your time is important. Your hygienist time is important. Your team's time is important. Their healthcare is important. Have I said important enough to make it important to you?
I think so.
Get the credit card number. And then you know what Mr. H says to me? Well, you're not going to charge my card, are you? Well, no, because you're going to show up, right? Exactly what I'm saying. Okay. Mr. H doesn't show up to that appointment. You've got his credit card. You're not charging it. Okay. So he's no-showed twice. Third time he wants to come in, he's got to prepay that appointment in full. I don't care if it's hygiene. I don't care what it is. He prepays in full in order to reserve time on the schedule. And you'll file his insurance as a courtesy for him to be reimbursed, whatever they're going to reimburse him. If he doesn't want to prepay to schedule for that third time, He's gone. It's time to let him go. And you need to let him go. Why? How much money have you lost from Mr. H because he hasn't shown up? I'm going to tell you, I actually calculated one patient, Mr. H, who came in, and I noticed in the software he had no-showed 14 times. Brand new office
Just a
manager.
couple.
Yeah, just a few. And here's what he says to me, because I'm going to come out and meet him, because I want to set the expectation there. I'm now the office manager. So great to meet you. I met your wife and your daughter and your son. Oh my gosh, you're such a lucky man with a great family. I'm so glad I finally got to meet you. I was a little worried you weren't going to show up today. And he's like, why is that? Now I'm having this conversation in my office, not out in the reception area where anybody else can hear me. I'm like, well, I noticed you've no-showed 14 times. He goes, oh no, girl. I'm sure that's not right. I said, I know it's probably more. That's just what was documented. And he stops. And I said, do you know what 14 no-shows have, cost the practice? And I take a sheet of paper and I slide it over to him. Now I did all this because he's a business owner himself. So I knew if I spoke to him, business person to business person, and I did have permission from my doctor to have this conversation. So everybody calm down. He's like, well, we got red in the face. And I said, well, as a business owner, if someone no-showed 14 meetings with you, what would you do? Yes, I did. Yes, I did ask that question. It was great. I find it very important that we have to meet our patients where they're at and have these hard conversations. But stop charging the $25, $50 no-show fees. Number one, that's not even covering your cost for that hour. Number two, you're gonna write it off anyway to let them come back. Go ahead and have that hard conversation. Take the no-show fee out of the equation. Make it an unrefundable deposit when it gets to that point. But then that third time, you got to let them go. Mm-hmm. You've got to get them out of your practice, because if you were to sit and calculate, and I'm looking at team members and probably some doctors, there's a name on your schedule. When you see it, I'm like, please let them show up. Please let them show up. You know that name. It's time to have a conversation. Applaud them for showing up. I'm so glad you were here. I was a little worried. You haven't come to your last few appointments. I think we need to talk. Are my times convenient for you? Because if not, I know there are other offices out there. I know it scares you, but how much money are you going to lose? That $25 and $50 no-show fee is not going to cover it.
True story. Yeah, we always had a VIP list for those folks.
Very important pitas.
Very important pitas. Very important pitas. I like it. No shows, no problem. We have to have a system to deal with this, just like we have systems with everything else.
Accountable to each other.
It's so important. Deanna, thanks so much. That was awesome as usual. And I bet you we're going to drag you back here a couple more times.
I'll see you soon.